Hello, everybody. What's going on? My name is Professor Zach De Piero. I am your instructor for English 151L, writing about literature. Sometimes it's called English 2. And I wanted to create this welcome video to help orient you to the course, both in terms of what our learning goals are, but also in terms of um, how to figure out what's where in the course and try to get a sense for the layout and the design and all that stuff. So, without further ado, let me hop in, do a little screen share, and guide you through what's going on. So, these are the courses I'm teaching this semester. I've got two sections of English 151L, section 64 and section 62. I'm just going to go ahead and click on 64. But if you're in section 62, this is still as useful for you as the other one would be. Okay, now what I want you to notice is this content tab. Look at this blue ribbon going across. Click content. Once you click content, you'll see a week by week breakdown. You can't see some of these yet because I'm currently hiding them. I don't want you to you see like the eyeball with the slash through it. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed quite yet, and I'll unlock these as the course progresses. Um, but generally speaking, your work will be, divided by each week: week one, week two, week three, so on and so forth. And each week, you'll see this is where we are now. I've divided things into basically like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. You'll have stuff that you'll need to read by midnight on a particular Monday, and stuff that you'll need to write or submit. Same thing for Wednesday, and nothing's due the first couple days here. But by Friday, we're going to begin the course by reading the novel 1984 by George Orwell. Before you jump into it, I want to give you um, kind of orient you to what's going on and what this dystopian masterpiece is all about, where it came from, George Orwell's philosophy, that kind of stuff. So I've got some videos I want you to check out. And then that night, by Friday night, you've got this introductory about me blurb due. Anything that's due, you'll be able to see under the weekly tab. So here's a link to the syllabus. Here's a link to the Unit 1 prompt, which covers all the assignments within this greater unit. That's going to be like 5 weeks or so. Last but not least, you got the first discussion board thread, this an introductory about me blurb, where the assignment directions are right here. Read them carefully. That way you don't miss anything. You get full credit. You got to hit the word limit. I want to see a picture, to go through this, folks. Anytime you have an assignment, you might think you know what's being asked of you, but like maybe you don't. Maybe there's requirements in there that like you overlooked or you momentarily forgot about. So do yourself a favor, do me a favor, do everybody a favor, and anytime you have an assignment, read the assignment directions very carefully, multiple times, if you want to put yourself in the best position to earn full credit. So everything's divided like that. Week by week, you click on that tab, and I've got that table set up for you about what you've got to read, what you've got to write, and you can tell when stuff is due just by looking at this table and the dates. Okay? Okay. Let's back it up though. I want to go back and say right here, this course overview and essential resources tab. Well, if you're wondering how to get a hold of me, these are my email addresses. You're wondering where my Zoom room is, it's right here. You're wondering how to find the syllabus, here's another link to it. So just like the title says, these are the essential resources within the course. And there's other stuff that's useful too for your time at Northampton, including scheduling meetings with our Learning Center team, which is also an opportunity to earn extra credit. And then I've got a link about NCC's like add drop deadlines and when we have off from school for holidays and whatnot. So that's the essential resources and informations tab. Now, with the rest of my time with you here, I want to touch upon the syllabus and our first unit prompt, and then I'll cut you loose. All right. So, the course syllabus, it's linked in a few places. I'm going to just click the link right here. I'm going to click command and click. Boom. Syllabus opens up. And let me call out to you a couple really, really important things here. So, first things first, assessment, grading, evaluation. Um, Folks, timeliness matters. When there's a due date, there's a due date. You can submit work that's late up to a day, you can get half credit for something. After that, you have to move on and try to do better the next time. If you miss an assignment or two, it's not like you're not going to fail a course. If you continue to do that, though, if that's the pattern, you will. You have to get your work in on time. There's no way around the writing process, folks. Writing takes time. There's no, in order for a student to have like actual writing development, real writing education, you have to adhere to the writing process, brainstorming, drafting, revising, editing, all that stuff. And that takes time. The, so if our best work comes from chipping away at something, sending it out into the world, whether it's to your classmate peers or to the instructor, getting feedback, checking it all out, improving your work, sending it out again. That's how writing happens. That's how good writing happens. And so, for us to achieve our goals, we have to have deadlines. There's just no way around it. And so, I really, really encourage you to embrace them. Okay. They're there for you to get the best out of yourself and your experience in the course. All right. Assignments and projects. You see these little buckets. These are all the different kind of parts we have of the course. We're going to have a lot of 5 quizzes. They're all open notes. You have to take them in one sitting. There's a 2-hour window on quizzes. It won't take you 2 hours. You know what I mean? Not if you have completed all of your work ahead of time and now you're ready to take the quiz. It should probably take you like maybe 20 minutes, honestly, tops. So quizzes are there, open notes. We're going to start off with that introductory about me blurb. Altogether, this bucket is worth 20% of your grade. After that, folks, we've got 3 big units. Our first unit is about 1984, the novel 1984. Our second big unit, it's about, we'll be writing a paper about, we'll be reading 4 short stories, and then we'll be studying how to understand and detect themes and symbolism in literature. To me, those are the 2 most important literary devices for an English lit student to work through in a course like this. So I got 4 short stories. I'm going to ask you to pick one of them. Talk to us about how the writer is bringing out a certain theme using symbolism. Last but not least, I'm kind of going to cut you loose. This is supposed to be fun. Yes, it culminates in a paper. Sure, papers can be stressful and difficult, but as far as papers go, this is, I'm hoping, going to be an exciting one for you. You may have heard the question at some point, like, what was better, the book or the movie? A book was turned into a movie. Same thing as saying a novel was turned into a film. It's kind of like the age-old debate. Which one was better? This is your chance to weigh in on that question. So I'm going to ask you to pick a novel or a novella, like a 70-page novel. It can be shorter, that was turned into a movie. Make an argument about it. You can apply what we've been studying throughout the course. You can talk about theme and symbolism, character development, setting, dialogue, all kinds of cool stuff. What was gained in the adaptation? What was lost? What were some of the filmmakers' decisions? Were they successful? Why or why not? And throughout, these big papers, we're going to be practicing stuff that is useful for almost any course. Using evidence to back up your claims, how to cite it, how to give it good attribution, that kind of stuff. Throughout the semester, you're going to be giving feedback to classmates' writing 3 times, and that's going to be worth 10% of your grade. Finally, the course is going to culminate in a portfolio. This is you passing along the best versions of all of your major assignments, the big three, and then writing this accompanying reflection on revisions you made, what you did, why you did it, that kind of stuff. All right, stick with me here, okay? I'm going to scroll down. This is something new I'm doing, okay? Since this is an online asynchronous course, folks, things can get a little weird. There tends to be a lot of cheating in these courses, a lot of going to Chat GPT for everything. And I'm not talking about all students, for sure, no way. But a considerable number of students in my courses, and anecdotally, I talk to colleagues, you read stuff in the national media. There's a lot of cheating going on. We all know that. Well, I think maybe some folks pretend it's not happening or they look the other way. I haven't been like that ever, not since day one when all this stuff was happening. So I'm trying something out new this semester. I've created a Google Doc for each student. And the Google Doc, I've shared it with you. So you should have received it at your NCC email account. And I wrote this message to all of you at the beginning. It's the first page. And then in the left-hand column, you'll see these sub-tabs. These are our assignments that we have in the course. Each time we have an assignment, folks, I want you to type it in here. And when you're done, copy that into Brightspace. So here's an About Me blurb. Hi, everybody. My name is Zach De Piero, and I absolutely love short stories. Blah, 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 yada, 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 right? I'm writing this assignment. When I'm done, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to put it into the Brightspace course where the assignment is due. It looks different on mine than yours, but you've got the assignment posted in there. Bam, everybody wins. So each time we have an assignment, what I'm asking you to write that assignment in the tabs on the left that I've set up for you, one for each assignment. And if you do this, you're showing me that you're taking writing seriously and you want to put yourself in the best position in terms of helping to prove that your work is in fact your work. Okay. If you don't do this, that's your choice. However, if you don't do this, you will lose your right to meet with me if I suspect your work is Gen AI plagiarism. So in other words, if I see like the common telltale signs that your work was written by ChatGPT, I will check out your Google Doc, try to get a sense for your writing patterns and look at the data within the document, see what's going on, and I'll get a better sense that, is it more or less likely that your work is in fact your work. But if you don't use the Google Doc, I can't tell that. And it becomes a mystery. And the mystery is not helpful for this stuff. I want it to be transparent. So this Google Doc, Listen, it's good for you for saving your work. It saves automatically. It's good for you for having everything in one place. We're going to have a cumulative final portfolio at the very end of the course, and having everything in one spot is going to be great for you for that purpose. Um, and then it's going to help you prove to me or your other instructors too, if you want to do this on your own, that it helps you advocate for yourself and show that your work is authentic. Okay, back in the syllabus, folks. Um, Assigned readings. Anytime there's reading and writing due on a certain day, finish the reading before you begin writing. And if you're ever confused, just think of the way it's set up. This row, this reading part is above the write and the complete part. So this comes first. The reading always comes first. This is about plagiarism and all that. You just do not want to mess around with that, folks. You really don't. Um, you don't risk just failing an assignment. You risk failing the course and maybe even the stuff going on your permanent record. You don't want that. Take pride in your work hard, good things will come your way in life. Read through this. I really want you to take it seriously. Down here in this generative AI section, I linked to a piece that I wrote. Like if you're interested in that, this is something, once the boom happened a couple years ago, I wrote this piece, got it published in a magazine, and it lays out, hey, there's me. It lays out a case against it. Learning to write is learning to think, all that kind of stuff. It deters student work ethic and accuracy. So, anyways, this is my professional and personal position on the matter. If you want to check it out, be my guest. Back in the syllabus. So, since this is an online asynchronous course, we don't have face-to-face class time. We're not meeting on campus from 10 to 11 on Mondays or whatever. So, your online coursework counts as your attendance. There's a policy where you need to maintain good standing. You need to maintain attendance in the course. So for us, you can't miss more than 3 assignments. On your fourth missed assignment, an enforced withdrawal will be issued. Take that to heart. Keep on top of your work, and good things will come. Okay. Here's a link to our library. Here's a link to our learning center. Accommodations, if you have one, make sure you go to our accommodation accessibility resource center, third floor of the college center, room 341. And then you're going to want to follow through with each instructor too, just to make sure you're on the same page. So that's the syllabus, folks. Now, let me take a minute to jump in and talk to you about our first big unit, 1984. A masterpiece about big government, sort of mind control, the totalitarian state. Think of that word total. They want it all. They want your mind. They want your language. They want complete obedience. This is sort of George Orwell's warning to society that we don't want that. We want democracy. We want free speech. We want free expression. And so this stuff always spikes up, not just in our country, throughout many countries in the world. There's always this tension between the government and control and the citizens and freedom. And there's this delicate dance that sometimes doesn't go so well. So this first unit is about that. I've got these various assignments that are intended to help you prepare for the final assignment. And the final assignment, I didn't post it yet, but instead of a paper, like an essay, you ready for this? It's a cover letter. It's a job cover letter. I'm going to ask you to step into the shoes of somebody who you think would work well, would do a good job of working for Big Brother, for the big 1984 totalitarian government. So you're going to craft a cover letter to work for one of the four ministries, which you'll be reading about in the novel. I love it. I'm so excited about this. It's creative. It's got a real world dynamic to it. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Reflection, I'll explain what that means in the coming weeks. I'll send you lots of emails and weekly updates and that kind of stuff. But think of like a mirror reflection. You look at the mirror, a mirror in life, like what do you see back? This is like you looking at your own writing. What do you see back? This is your chance for you to talk to me about decisions that you made, what you did and why you did it, how your work is evolving over time, connection to stuff that we read, proving to me that you're working through the material and that that's helping your writing. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Okay, folks, I hope you have a wonderful semester. I really do. And you take care of yourselves. So long.